Wow. I'm not even sure what to say. You probably already know what I'm talking about. Maybe you stayed up last night and you took the time to watch the debate. Maybe you've watched some of the highlights of it this morning, if I can use the word highlights. All I can say is, wow. I've heard a lot of folks talk about last night and today this idea that there's got to be better candidates to lead the United States of America. But as I watched the debate last night, what I saw is the perfect example of what America looks like. We've lost the ability to talk to one another. All it seems that we can do is talk over one another. It seems that we can't agree on anything. Now, today, I'm not here to tell you how to vote. I'm not here to tell you which way I'm going to vote. What I'm here to talk about today is, what do I do? What do you do as a Christian? After the debate last night, what do you do? What do I do as a Christian in a country that looks like ours? So let's talk about it. Okay, so the passage that we're going to look at today is coming from the New Testament, the book of 2 Corinthians, Paul's letter to the church at Corinth, the second letter to the church at Corinth. We're going to be in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, and just one verse today, verse 17. Paul writes these words. He says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." So what Paul is talking about here is that by grace, through faith, that when we place our faith in Christ, we become a new creation. We transition from death to life. Something changes, something happens. We become a new person by faith in Jesus. I was doing some reading this week and I came across someone that phrased it like this. They said that when you put your faith in Jesus, it's not just an addition to your old life, but you get a new life. You become a new creation. You're born again. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. And what's interesting about this is that after we're born again, after we become that new creation, it's not that everything changes all at once. But what happens is that we start that journey where we become more and more like Christ in what we say, in what we do, and how we act, and how we carry ourselves. And that's a journey that continues to unfold throughout our lives, a journey that's its beginning point is when we accept Christ and become that new creation. And one of the most important things about this idea that Paul's touching on here, that we become new by faith in Jesus, is that becoming new means that we also have a new way of being. And that's what I really want to focus on, is that idea that we have to have a new way of being as Christians. And so I want to encourage you, don't buy in. And what I mean by that, don't buy in. Don't buy into living and acting like so many of the folks around us. At times, so many of our brothers and sisters in the faith that buy into all the division, that buy into all of the separation, all the hatred, all the anger, all the frustration directed from both sides of the aisle. Don't buy into that. Don't begin to let yourself live that way. And look, I get it. It's hard. It seems that we're surrounded by it all the time, and it's easy to respond in a hateful and divisive manner when that's how people react to us. And I know it's a very cliche way of saying this, but it's the truth. We as Christians have got to rise above the cultural climate that we currently find ourselves in, right? We can't find ourselves buying into, acting in a way that kind of characterizes our country right now. But as Christians, that new way of being is really living in a way where we seek justice for all people, living in a way As Christ says, the two greatest commandments, love of God, and secondly, love for our neighbor. We have to live in a way where we love our enemies. We have to love the people that we disagree with, the people that we don't get along with. We have to live in a way where we speak truth, yes, absolutely, 100%, but we speak it in grace. We speak it in compassion. We speak it in love. It means that we're willing to dialogue. It means that we're willing to extend compassion and love even to those that we adamantly disagree with. As new creations in Christ, guys, we're called to a new way of being, a new way of living, and in a way of being and living that is the polar opposite of what we saw in the debate and of what we're seeing in our country right now. Let me phrase it this way. I was looking at some Pew Forum research, and currently there are 65% of Americans categorize themselves as Christians. 65%. Now, you've heard me likely talk before about how Christianity is kind of on the downtrend here in America, and then that's the case. But currently, at least 2018, 2019, 65% of those polled claim to be Christians. How different might our country look if you and I began to live into that new creation that we are in Jesus Christ? What if we began to embrace that new way of living that we're called to? And look, I get it. It's not easy. It's difficult. It's hard. But that's what we're called to, guys. To walk in the Spirit, to walk in love, to walk in grace. And the only way our country begins to change the way it looks is not that we all agree, but that in our relationships, in our personal relationships, and the relationships that we have with people walking down the street, we can act and conduct ourselves in a way that points to Christ. And that's really what we're called to. If we want our country to shift, if we want it to change, from a country being categorized as one divided and angry, it's got to begin with you. And it's got to begin with me. Christians living into the new creation that we are. Friends, as always, if you have thoughts, if you have ideas, if you agree, if you disagree, drop it in the comment section below. If there's anything that I can do for you, prayers or whatever, please just reach out to me. Have a great week.